it's Dion here, and it's August. Can you believe it? It is the 1st of August, and I am wishing you a very happy new month. Now, I am recording this video because I'm very excited about something that's just dropped in my spirit. As I was thinking about what to share with you, I got this divine download, like I do, and I just want to share it with you. The words in my that still small voice on the inside of me said, Dion, call the divinely appointed influencers. The divinely appointed influencers. Now, this really excited me. It's not the first time that I have heard this term. And actually, I was thinking back today about the first time that I actually had these words and just come up in my spirit years and years ago. And it was after I was coaching a woman that came to me. I can't remember what her specific problem was, but she came in a nutshell. I think it was something to do with her not expressing herself powerfully in her space. And as I coached this woman, as we coached together, I realized more and more over the weeks that this is a spiritual issue, that what she was presenting with was a spiritual issue. Back then, I didn't feel comfortable to call it out, I didn't feel comfortable to coach her in spiritual matters. And I was unsure of myself as a spiritual teacher or just a spiritual professional. I didn't know how the two went together. I was trying to be professional about coaching her, but I could see that she had this spiritual issue. Story has it that she grew up in a really oppressive, really cult-like religious environment. And so, as an adult, she actually ran away from that. And as an adult, she had made up in her mind that she wants nothing to do with God, nothing to do with spirituality, nothing. And she was allergic. That's how she put it. She's allergic to anything of a spiritual nature. And so, yeah, back then I just didn't know how to deal with that. I kind of just I coached her as best I could, but I kind of left it because I didn't really know how to bring the two together. I didn't even know if I was allowed to. That's how I was thinking back then, if that was like breaking some kind of rule to bring the two together. And actually, I think about that woman a lot because, I've been on a journey since then. I've been growing as a woman and as a leader and as a change maker, as a spiritual being and a spirit-led practitioner, a spirit-led professional. I've grown, and so I really wish I had a chance to go back and, talk to that woman again because I realize that this is an era where God is divinely appointing his influencers in the marketplace. And that's what he was saying to me again today. Like when the phrase came back to me today, it excited me because I'm definitely not the Dion that it came up with like all those years ago. Like I'm me now, and so I can do something with this. And I hear the call to call the divinely appointed influencers. So I've made a little few notes around this because I want to expand on what I think this term means. I really want you to recognize yourself in this term. Let me see. Divinely appointed influencers, God's women in the marketplace. God's women in the marketplace. So, this is your call to highness. This is your call to your divine sovereignty, your divine identity, your divine nature, your high self, right? This is what I feel this is all about. And divinely appointed is about not being self-selected. This is not about a position that you hustle for. This is an anointing. This is an assignment, a divine assignment for senior leadership. So when I say divinely appointed, it's not something that you work hard for or you self-select yourself for. It's something that is bestowed upon you, right? It's a divine appointment. And influencer, when I say influencer, I don't mean like a social media face. I mean a true shaper of thought, a true shaper of culture and policy and impact in industry. That's what I'm talking about. Influencer. And when I say God's woman, what I mean is that you don't have to be, you don't have to believe like me. You don't have to be a Christian like me. You don't have to speak like me or think of, you don't have to have the same rituals as me. You don't have to be the same as me, but you do have to have a sense that there's more of you than you're currently expressing, more of you than you're currently connected with. You're God's woman, you're unapologetically spiritual, you're unapologetically feminine, you're unapologetically His, and and whatever that means to you, right? What the God of your understanding, that you are unapologetically awake, alive in some shape, way, or form to the fact that there is more to you than just your physical being. So that's what I mean when I say God's woman. And in the marketplace, what I'm talking about is that we're not talking about in, your sort of cloistered, you're being closeted in the church. We're talking about you not being hidden in the shadows. We're talking about you being present and potent and positioned in the marketplace, in the world of business, in the world of enterprise and leadership. That's what I mean when I say in the marketplace. So you are God's woman in the marketplace, and you're born for such a time as this. You are here to lead important, meaningful change. And what I heard, the words that came up for me today was that you have been churched, or you've been synagogued, or you've been whatever, whatever term that you've been schooled in your philosophy around spirituality, around God, but you have not yet been crowned. You have not yet been introduced to your highness. So the way that I wrote it down was you've been saved, but you're not sovereign. You have learned submission, but you haven't learned stewardship of power yet. You haven't learned how to master your power yet. You've been taught how to behave, but you've not been taught how to rule and reign. You've been discipled from the pews, but you've not yet been deployed as a powerful force, a sovereign force in the marketplace. Oh my goodness. I wonder if you can hear me, that it's time for us, divinely appointed influencers, those people who are positioned by God. You know, Remember, if you know the Bible any at all, you maybe know the story of Esther, orphan girl who was exiled from her homeland. Her parents died. She was raised by her uncle. She had to move because of war out of her country, and she moved to um, I forget the country. I forget the country, and she moved to the country, and she ended up being one of the king's concubines, and then she was taught by the eunuch, and then she ended up being the queen of it's right on the tip of my tongue, the country. But she ended up being the queen, and she was divinely appointed queen. She had no business being the queen. She was a Jew, and she had no business being the queen. She was exiled and orphaned and a poor girl and all of not from royal lineage, but she was divinely appointed, and she was the one that usurped the heinous crime, the heinous plans to annihilate the Jews in very particular ways. I'll be talking more about Esther and the story of Esther as we go on this month, but I'm excited that she is going to be our foundation, our avatar. She's going to be the one that we're looking at to understand what it means to be a divinely appointed influencer. And so what I wanted to do in this video was to talk to you about how you recognize why it might be difficult for you to recognize that you're divinely appointed. The first thing that I've written down here is that it might be hard for you to believe that you're divinely appointed because you are really not religious. You're really not in a relationship with God. Maybe your relationship is, shall we say, challenged. Your relationship with God is challenged and not really alive. Maybe that your relationship with God is a flat line. And the good news is that you don't have to be religious. You don't have to be in the best place right now. You don't have to have all this long history, and you don't have to know any. You don't have to be in any particular good shape for this calling to be a divinely appointed influencer to be true about you. All right. So that's the first one. The second thing is that you're not like any of the holy crowd. So maybe you do know God. Maybe you've got your relationship with God, but you're not like those religious people over there. Like you're not like, the holy folk. You're not like the lightly crew who, yeah, that it's obvious that they're appointed by God, but me. Yes, you. Yes, you. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the ones who feel like a misfit in their faith traditions. They feel like the rebel, the outcast, the black sheep, the one, whatever, like you especially. As I was thinking about this, this I was compelled to mention that especially you don't count yourself out of being divinely appointed influencers because of that. Okay. And the other reason why this might be hard to believe is because you don't consider yourself an influencer. You don't consider yourself an influential voice in your organization, your industry, or your field. Like you're one of those that perhaps you like the background. Like you might be a CEO or a director or a head, but you're kind of low key. Like you keep your views to yourself. You kind of just work with everybody else and do what's done around here. Well, you're divinely appointed and you're divinely appointed to influence. You maybe say, well, Dion, I don't have a message. My ideas are all over the place. I don't have a unique sound, a unique voice that you need when you're an influencer. No problem. Like that's about to be developed if you say yes to this call. And you might say, well, Dion, you don't understand. I'm in the professional space, I'm in a male-dominated, a very stuffy, kind of male-dominated, very stiff upper lip, very stoic kind of professional space. They don't talk about woo-woo things here, like spirituality doesn't belong in this space. They don't want me to be that. Guess what? Yep, you too are a divinely appointed influencer. What I'm saying here is that we might have all kinds of reasons why we don't see ourselves as divinely appointed influencers, God's women in the marketplace. But you are. If you're listening to this, chances are I'm talking to you. And what I want you to know is that you don't have to feel it. You just have to sense that there is more for you to be. You just have to know that you haven't you're not fully expressed yet, that there's a you that's yet to emerge as the woman leader and change maker that you were born to be. There is more for you to be, do, say, create, experience, and express. Oh, my goodness gracious me. And the reason that you were born to be, do, and say more is because there is divine need for your voice. This voice is divinely raised up, divinely appointed. And I cannot wait to unpack this with you in the month of August. So if this is resonating, what I'd like for you to do is I would like for you to say, yes, Dion. I identify, even though I don't know how, even though I don't know what this all looks like, how it all unfolds. I'm figuring that I am a divinely appointed influencer, born for such a time as this, born to rule and reign, born to be an influencer, a force for change and transformation and good, divinely appointed good at such a time as this. If you resonate with any of this, any at all, please reach out and say to me, yep, Dion, I resonate. I cannot wait to speak to you and hear from you and unpack this over the month of August. Happy first of the month. Speak to you perhaps tomorrow.